Representatives from Deutsche Bank, according to a report this week, are looking for a way to sever their ties to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, who owes Deutsche Bank, by the way, $340 million. And that debt is coming soon rather quickly. And according to the report, if he is unable to pay that debt when it comes due after he leaves office, they could easily start seizing his assets. And I'm going to get more to that in just a moment and explain why that's a very likely scenario. But first, why does Deutsche Bank want to not give Donald Trump a continuance? Why do they want to, get their money back and then leave him out cold? Well, according to the officials from the bank, they're tired of the scrutiny they're getting. They're tired of the negative publicity. And more importantly, they're tired of Congress knocking on their doors and investigating. And they'd rather that stuff kind of go away. And maybe if they stop doing business with Donald Trump, maybe Congress isn't going to come sniffing around as much. And believe it or not, folks, those congressional investigations are, in fact, something that they mentioned as to why they want to cut ties with them, because they don't want to deal with Congress. Now, to me, when you have a body like a bank, like Deutsche Bank, that, by the way, has, been found guilty of criminal conduct in the past, they've paid massive fines for it. But when they're like, hey, Congress, we really don't want you sniffing around our files anymore, so if we get rid of him, will you stop? That, to me, is a good indication that, you know what, you probably need to dig into other things, too, because it's probably not just Donald Trump. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, based on what we've seen from quite literally every other major bank in the United States, maybe they're hiding something. Maybe that's why they don't want you sniffing around their files and, flipping through their records and all of that, because you're going to find more bad things. So Congress, if you're listening, please make sure that you do not relent with Deutsche Bank. It doesn't matter if they cut ties with Trump. This has nothing to do with Trump. If there's criminal activity taking place at this increasingly nervous bank, I'd say that warrants a little bit of an investigation, wouldn't you? Now, as to the seizing of Trump's assets, because I'm sure that's what everybody's waiting with bated breath to hear about, right? You want to know how this affects the Orange Man. Well, here it is. What's Donald Trump's number one industry that he's in? Real estate. When you're in real estate, you typically do not have a lot of cash on hand, as your cash is tied up in these real estate investments. Now, you get lots of cash on hand, obviously, when they sell. But if nothing's selling, or if you're in the hotel industry and say we're in the middle of a pandemic and nobody's traveling, you don't have that cash. So then the bank says, well, we're going to have to take your stuff. And again, when your stuff is real estate, that's the stuff they take. So Deutsche Bank could very well, instead of going in and taking the golden toilet, they could just start taking Trump properties. And if you think that that's out of the realm of possibility, don't forget Panama, when they found out he was cheating them and screwing them over, and they kicked his ass out and unceremoniously went out there with a crowbar and pried the Trump name off the outside of the building. It's possible. And it's been done before. What a fitting end to the Trump story, too, right? I mean, obviously, they're not going to seize all the properties he has, but they have rights to take a couple, maybe, to pay off that massive debt. And if they genuinely want Congress to stop sniffing around on them, and Trump doesn't have the money to pay off that loan immediately, rest assured, that is exactly what they're already thinking of doing. And we know that because that is what they've already told reporters.